Hey everyone, and welcome to Boston Autoblog. It's another crossover for this review. Today I'm taking a look at the all-new 2019 Chevrolet Blazer. Huge thank you to Muzi Chevrolet in Needham, Massachusetts for allowing me to do this review and also inviting me down here to check it out. This is their first one on the lot, and this is my first time getting an actual look at this crossover. So despite Chevrolet bringing back the Blazer name, this is basically an all-new crossover for an all-new market. This is in no way like the Blazer that came out in the 80s and 90s and shouldn't be seen as such. There's a lot of people who think this is going to be a competitor to the Ford Bronco just because both names are coming out at the same time, but actually this is a direct competitor to the Ford Edge. With crossovers being the vehicle of choice heading into 2020, Chevrolet needed a sporty vehicle in this market. If you look at their lineup, you have the Equinox, which is their main crossover, their high volume seller. And then they have the Traverse, which is the full-size crossover with a third row that can fit 7 to 8 passengers. So this fits right in between both vehicles. The trend right now in the automotive industry is to have the crossover look like a sports car. And if you look up front, it definitely reminds me of a Camaro. So you can see exactly where the automotive market is heading in. And I think this will appeal to a lot of consumers who want a Chevrolet Camaro, but it's definitely not practical for them if they have families. And so, without wasting any further time, let's get right into this review. "2019 is setting up to be the year where household names in the 80s and 90s are making a return for several automotive brands. With Ford bringing back the Bronco, it seemed right that Chevy would reintroduce the Blazer. With sports crossovers under $50,000 being an emerging market, having a vehicle that provides performance and practicality at a price point that's very competitive certainly made sense, especially with the Edge ST already selling across the country and the Honda Passport returning to the US market for 2019. The most asked question I received during my time filming the Blazer was what's the difference between this and the Chevy Equinox. The answer really comes down to what's under the hood, unless you step inside and go for a test drive, which then you'll notice a sizable difference when it comes to shoulder room. From the untrained eye, if you park them side by side, their dimensions look almost identical, but the Blazer is slightly higher off the ground and receives a much more aggressive appearance that's similar to a Camaro. Many people have been curious about rear cargo room inside the Blazer and how it compares to the Equinox. Officially, there's 1 cubic foot difference between the two, but because the Blazer is wider, there appears to be more room than advertised. Optional is a power tailgate, and to conveniently maximize cargo volume, just lift the lever and the rear seats will fold automatically. The model in this video is a 1LT, which is only available with a 4-cylinder engine. It's when you upgrade to the 2LT and above that the Blazer then comes standard with the 3.6 liter V6 engine that puts out 305 horsepower. Since the Edge is the Blazer's closest competitor, Chevy is offering a significant amount of horsepower at a more affordable price than the Edge ST that can reach as high as $50,000. The Blazer is meant to be the sporty alternative in the Chevy crossover lineup, and that becomes apparent not only when you see it in person, but also when you step inside, which we'll check out in a few minutes. With this Blazer being a 1LT, it leans more towards the base model, but you still get a good amount of standard features, including automatic bi-xenon headlights, LED running lights, dual-zone climate control, 4G LTE Wi-Fi, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. And with the optional convenience and driver confidence package being equipped on this particular model, heated and power adjustable side mirrors with turn signal indicators, lane change alert with side blind zone alert, rear cross traffic alert, and rear park assist are added for additional safety technology. For performance, the Blazer 1LT comes with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine that gets 193 horsepower and 188 pound-feet of torque, and is paired with a 9-speed automatic transmission. Front-wheel drive comes standard, and to have the option of all-wheel drive, we have to upgrade to the 2LT trim and above. Official MPG numbers haven't been released yet, but there is no question that if you want the best fuel economy in the Blazer lineup, going with the 4-cylinder and front-wheel drive is going to be your best option.
Before getting into the interior, I want to talk about just how wild the Blazer really is. This is nothing like the 80s and 90s Blazer. It's not your rugged off-road SUV or crossover that's competing with the Bronco. This is really the crossover that's going to try to appeal to a younger audience, an audience that wants a sports car feel, but with the practicality of an SUV. Now, as you can tell, this is an all-new color for Chevrolet. It kind of reminds me of BMW's Austin Yellow, and I think that's what Chevrolet is going with right now. They want to appeal to a younger audience, and especially with the Camaro front fascia, it kind of makes sense to have new colors that are vibrant, that grab attention. And, you know, Chevrolet had taken some criticism in that department in the past, where they were only offering, you know, some shades of blue and red for your wild colors. You know, you had yellow for the Camaro and the Corvette, but for their regular consumer vehicles, it was always white, gray, black, a shade of red and blue, and that was really it. I think they finally listened to consumers, and they've gone crazy with colors right now.
Inside, the 1LT are greeted by cloth seats, with the driver's side being power adjustable. By adding the convenience and driver confidence package, you get 3 level heated seats up front. In the center of the instrument panel is a digital information display, and by using the buttons mounted on the leather-wrapped steering wheel, you can scroll through a variety of information. Moving over to the infotainment system, you get a touchscreen, and as mentioned before, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility do come standard. You get a rear backup camera with trajectory to go along with your rear cross traffic alert and rear park assist. As we move down the center console, you immediately notice a different layout and dashboard design than what you'd find in other models in the Chevy crossover lineup. The circular air vents are a cool addition, and aesthetically, having chrome pieces and not going with a gloss piano black trim around the gearshift lever like many manufacturers these days makes the Blazer interior stand out amongst its siblings. But also how they molded the infotainment system into the dash is a better looking design than what you'd find in the Equinox. What you see when you step inside is inspired by the Camaro, which is the overall theme for this crossover and why it's geared more towards a younger consumer. By using the rotary dial behind the gearshift lever, the Blazer will come with 3 different driving modes, including Snow and Sport. For the center storage compartment, you'll find enough room for a smartphone and other small items, and you'll also find a 12-volt outlet. For passengers in the back, they'll get a good amount of legroom, and the 5th passenger in the middle won't be complaining about being cramped, as the floor is flat and provides enough comfort for longer drives. They'll get 2 rear air vents and a USB input, and if there isn't a passenger in the middle, 2 cup holders will fold down from the center seat.
Overall, I think this was desperately needed for the Chevrolet lineup. If you look at the crosstown rivals from Ford, you have the Edge ST, which is really an unheard of crossover to have a sports car feel and performance at $40,000. Now, the Blazer, not in this particular one, but the Blazer does offer a V6, which is going to offer like 305, 306 horsepower. Now, at $35,000, this undercuts the Edge ST, and now it all begins to make sense as to why they brought the Blazer back. This is an emerging market in 2019, and Chevrolet needed to be one of the first brands to offer a sporty crossover because Honda's coming out with the Passport later this year. So to hit the market and to, really be one of the first ones out there, I think Chevrolet could see some success with this crossover. Now, from a visual appeal, I think that depending on who you talk to, people like it, some people don't. But I have noticed, and I think this is wild, this is crazy to even have people talk about this, that they think the Blazer looks like a poor man's Lamborghini Urus, which again, I think is completely crazy. I've noticed this a number of times. When the new Blazer arrived, the RS arrived at a dealership in Illinois, and it was posted on Facebook, I noticed a lot of people liking how it looked. Now, I don't know how the 1LT will be perceived and how that will do, but the RS is certainly popular right now with consumers because it has the Camaro front end, but it looks sporty, it looks aggressive, and to be honest, I think it could definitely be a serious competitor to the Ford Edge ST.
Once again, I'd like to thank Muzi Chevrolet for letting me check out the all-new Blazer. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Chevrolet inventory. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you next time.